Intocable is in the house, and he is once again trying to become a Reality of Wrestling champion, but standing in his way is the black heart of the Reality of Wrestling, Bryan Keith. This is a showcase of true Texas talent here tonight.
Absolutely, and Brittany Outland, Gino Medina, youngest Reality Wrestling champion in history. If he wins the match tonight, he has another opportunity at that illustrious title.
And you know that he wants that. I mean, that title here means everything, but he would have to go against Edge Stone. But before that, he's got to get through Bryan Keith.
This is going to be an amazing contest here tonight, as this is not the first time we have seen these guys go against each other. We saw them just a year ago in a series of matches to dub the King of Texas at the time, and Bryan Keith came out of that series winning. But here he comes.
The man, the myth, the legend, the bounty hunter, Bryan Keith.
This demeanor is something that I never expected out of Bryan Keith. We knew that he had intensity from his style, but he was always all about cowboy up, always about being with the Row Nation. Ever since that cage match earlier this year, where he screwed Will Allday out of winning the championship back,
yes,
it's been a completely different Bryan Keith. It's a completely different monster, for that matter.
It is indeed a monster. I mean, the man with the quickest kicks in the game, out here for himself and himself only, and it's a very dangerous man who has nothing to care about.
Now, this is a very different, very interesting clash of styles, if you will, Brittany, because as I said, we have seen them face off against each other before in a series of matches, but it has been almost a year and a half since we last saw them clash, and ever since then, they have evolved their games even further. Both of these guys started off very young with Booker T almost over a decade ago, and now over the last year and a half, they've gone two completely different ways.
You're correct. It is honestly like they're meeting for the first time. At this point, they are two completely different individuals. They've been through ups and downs, and they've hit the hard road of wrestling going, and now they're changed men.
To paint the picture for everybody watching out there, everybody remembers the match between Daniel Bryan and John Cena on Velocity.
Yes.
Now they're meeting at SummerSlam 2013 for the championship. Two completely different talents from the last time they met. And right now, only one of them is going to get to walk away as the #1 contender for the Reality of Wrestling Championship.
BK Ever with the poker face. You never see Bryan Keith sweat. Even when he is down and out, you never can see it on his face. And, well, we know who the Row Nation likes.
The real faithful definitely behind Gino Medina, and I can't really blame them over the actions of Bryan Keith as of late. He has not only screwed Will Allday out of the Reality of Wrestling Championship, but he has done many nefarious things over the last few months leading up to this matchup. And right now you can see the standoff right here. Nothing's happened yet, and already the energy, it's electric in the air here tonight at the World Gym Arena.
What an intense lockup, and then into a waist lock there. Oh, a headlock takeover, but there was scissors.
And look at this. These two know each other so well, and the standoff from these two talents is just immense.
We have to remember, these two guys came up around the same time. Their ascents to the top were parallel in a lot of ways, and not a lot of perpendicular events between the two. They rarely collide. This is a first time that we're really seeing them in a one-on-one atmosphere in a big match situation. They've both won the Reality Wrestling Championship before. Bryan Keith has been on big stages on the same card as Booker T. If we could flash back to the final heat in 2015, that was a night that he will always remember by going off the top of the cage and beating Ryan Davidson for the Reality Wrestling Television Championship. There is so much history between these two. without even them stepping in the ring all that often against one another.
And it's amazing to see, like we were talking about earlier, their trajectories has just been incredible. And to see them now, it's a completely different game from then.
Ooh.
As first, somebody's trying to get some kind of advantage, but they know each other so well without even stepping foot in the ring across from each other that much.
Oh, my.
Oh, there he is. Swing and a miss there. Gino rolls through.
Oh!
If you pay attention to social media, Gino Medina has been able to train under other experts in the field of wrestling. Members of the Hart family down in Florida have been training with Gino as of late, only adding to his incredible breadth of knowledge when it comes to his in-ring acumen and skill.
And we're going to be talking about social media appearances. Let's not forget that Bryan Keith is also traveling all over the United States, making a name for himself, not only here at the Reality of Wrestling, but across companies worldwide.
And we all know here that every time you step in the ring with another opponent, you learn something. So Bryan Keith is definitely a wealth of knowledge at this point. Oh, another
headlock takeover there from Gino, as both of these guys haven't been able to land a big shot yet, but they're still trying to feel each other out here, Brittany.
They are indeed, and Gino's got that locked in tight, but Bryan Keith, of course, you know, ever lovingly trying to find a way out, whether pulling the hair, breaking the eyes. You know, he's just a charming individual.
You call that charm? I hate to see what line your husband used to pick you up back in the day. Odd definition of the word charm. As Bryan Keith stands tall, the Lone Ranger with his new attitude and almost focusing on himself and his own self-interest has proven, though, to be fruitful for Bryan Keith.
It definitely has been, as I mentioned earlier as well. He was always all about the Row Nation, always, you know, promoting positivity, promoting cowboy up, that mentality of never giving up. But ever since that cage match happened, it's been a completely different side of Bryan Keith, a more vicious side, and it's proven to work thus far.
Still outside the rings, and Isaac Bullion, discretion, letting them fight it out, but starting to count as he wants this back in.
Well, you know, I mean, since this is a number, oh, look at that, Bryan Keith pulling a little trick on Gino Medina. Since this is a #1 contenders match, of course, Isaac Bullion's going to be somewhat lenient with the rules.
I mean, if I was in a match refereeing against Bryan Keith or just being the third man in that center, and I disqualified him, I would want to get out of Dodge immediately. So I probably would also be lenient.
You want to get the hell out of Dodge City like Matt Dillon.
Gino back in. Oh!
That right there was a knee to knee. The cartilage of that knee must have just be torn to shreds right now. As now Bryan Keith has found a target.
And there the bounty hunter at work. Gino in excruciating pain there. Oh, and back again. Bryan Keith may snap him in half.
I mean, that's what you're going to have to do against Gino. Gino is one tough competitor, and just a few weeks ago we saw him face off against Mysterious Q for that Reality Wrestling Championship. But, you know, the match was costly for him a little bit.
Oh, absolutely. As it is any encounter with somebody the caliber of Mysterious Q, as Bryan Keith goes to work on that left leg.
And Brad, you know, like we just saw in the ladder match, what are these competitors going to be worse for wear if they win the #1 contendership? How are they going to actually go against the champion?
Well, the champion now we know is Edge Stone, and I would say push off the date of that title match as far as you can. I mean that quite honestly. Like, try to get a 6 to 8 week head start on that so you can get training, because I know Edge Stone has done a lot to make sure that he got that Reality Wrestling Championship, and he's not going to be looking to lose it to either one of these gentlemen or anyone else in the Road locker room.
Look at this, Gino trying to get back up to his feet, but the damage to the knee is massive right now. He is unable to get up, and that is the vicious side that we talked about from Bryan Keith. As soon as he finds a target, the man just goes right after it.
Well, and here's the thing, Kirby, is he's not just trying to win the #1 contendership. He's very much trying to end Gino Medina's career.
Oh, man.
Oh, no.
It's like a juggernaut is Bryan Keith.
Well, we've had back-to-back #1 contender matches and cover 1, 2, and a kick-out. We've had back-to-back #1 contender matches, and we have 3 straight championship matches after this one right here. You have, of course, Ryan Davidson, J.P. Harlow, Terrell Tempo, and Blake Cortez battling for the Texas Championship. Clay Roberts tries to get back the Road TV title from Stephen Wolf. And in our main event, Fly Deaf, the challengers take on the champions, Q and Booker T, the Heat.
The first time we are going to see Booker T step into the ring as a champion in 7 years here at the Reality of Wrestling.
Wow. The last one was at the aforementioned final heat, where Stevie Ray and Booker T had their final outing as the team known as Harlem Heat, or some people in the Texas area would know them, the Ebony Experience. They went out and beat the team of the Heavenly Bodies.
Let's look at this standoff here between these two Raw Originals, two of the biggest names under the Booker T learning tree, as they're just showing what we do here in Texas.
Oh! And again, Gino barely able to stand on that leg.
Oh! And here comes Gino right now. It could be all adrenaline. Oh!
8 shots to the dome piece of Bryan Keith.
Big crossbody there from Gino, as now he's got him sliced up. Oh! Swinging neck breaker into the cover here. 2, but a big kick out there from Bryan Keith.
And I expected nothing less from Bryan Keith, as he actually has not been taking most of the damage this entire match.
The Si Se Puede chant breaks out here at the Row Arena, which means yes, we can.
That just warms my heart to hear it here behind Gino Medina.
Did you ever see Gotta Kick It Up on the Disney Channel?
I did not. Oh!
Did that happen and Gotta Kick It Up?
That's where they said Si Se Puede. That's where I learned it. The great America Ferrera vehicle on the Disney Channel as, oh, look at that!
And here it goes. That's it.
That's it. 1, 2, 3, and Gino, no! Bryan Keith kicks out of the Scarlet Letter.
I 100% thought that was 3. You said 3, and I was like,
I counted
that is
to
it.
it. I mean,
yeah.
We rarely ever see anyone kick out of a move like the Scarlet Letter.
That has been Gino Medina's calling card for the longest time here at the Reality of Wrestling. But it just goes to show the resilience of Bryan Keith. It's going to take a lot more to take him down than just one Scarlet Letter.
Bryan Keith up top.
Oh. Oh, no.
This is a scary spot for both individuals. As Gino,
oh my
no.
gosh, and a nasty landing for Gino Medina, hitting his face on the way down, slow to get up to his feet. And look at this, it's going to be a, oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness.
Cover, 1, 2, that had to be all, but it wasn't. I don't even know, what do you call that?
There was a form of flip over stunner using the top rope for more leverage there from Bryan Keith. And maybe from Gino Medina, it was all just instinct.
And now Bryan Keith calling for the end of Gino.
Kick to the midsection, those quickest kicks in the South right now in full display. As we could be seeing that Tiger Driver known as a Soulfire Bomb just moments away.
Bryan Keith never missing a moment to talk a little trash as they are now standing on the second turnbuckle.
Gino holding on tight with all he's got left. Oh, flurry of headbutts from Bryan Keith.
Second rope here. Look at this.
Both over, cover, 1, 2. Oh no, he would have given that one 2. Cover, 1, 2. Cover, 1, 2, Bryan Keith.
And this is for the #1 contendership for the Reality of Wrestling Championship.
It's like twins right now. Oh!
These men have trained alongside each other for so long. They have the same ideas at the same moment.
Can a human body take?
Both of them just fall to the ring, fall down to the mat.
This is an incredible matchup we're seeing from both guys. And again, it is for the #1 contendership for Edge Stone's Reality of Wrestling Championship.
Oh no, someone.
Referee up to a count of 7. At 8, 2 seconds away. Okay, both men get back to a vertical base.
He's got him hooked up here, ladies and gentlemen. Here he goes, the Soulfire Bomb.
But no, Gino. Oh, the question mark kick. So beautifully done, one of my favorites. Oh no, and that is the wrong person to kick. Isaac Bullion.
Isaac Bullion getting clipped. Gino though here, cover 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, there would have been the winner right there. Isaac Bullion was still nursing his injury. Bryan Keith, roll up. 1, 2, he's got the tights. No.
No.
Oh.
Caught him with a kick.
Ran right into that knee. And now Bryan Keith's got him hooked up. Soulfire Bomb.
Soulfire Bomb, 1, 2, 3, and Bryan Keith gets the victory. Bryan Keith battles back and forth with Gino Medina, and he finds a way to edge out a victory in a hard-fought back-and-forth battle. Gino Medina, the new #1 contender.
Bryan Keith, the new #1 contender for Edge Stone's Reality Wrestling Championship. And when that match happens, it is going to be a true clash of styles as the brutality of Bryan Keith. Will it be able to keep up with the new champion? We'll find out in the near future. But ladies and gentlemen, tonight is Bryan Keith's night.
Oh.
Disrespect on top of it.
And I would expect nothing less from this new version of Bryan Keith we've seen as of late.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, coming up on Christmas Chaos, 3 straight championship encounters for the Texas Championship, the Television Championship, and in our main event, Booker T and the Mysterious Q defend the Reality Wrestling Tag Team titles against Zach Zilla and Fly Brother Warren J. Fly Death.
Oh!